Hi, I'm Michelle Trasborg. I'm the principal at Fritz Elementary, and you're about to watch a video that details one of your options for going back to school. It's a really important decision. It's a difficult decision. And this option, 5 days brick and mortar at Fritz Elementary, is one of your options. Another option that you have is Conestoga Valley Virtual Academy. And you'll see at the end of this, I will post the FAQs for it and also the contact information for Jen Kraus, who is our coordinator who can help you figure out if that option is best for your family. Homeschooling is another option, and the contact person for that is Kara Forrest, and she would be the person to help you in that process. And then, of course, there are other cyber options. Our goal is to inform you of all of those options to help you see what best works for your family. Here we go. Greetings, Fritz families. This is Mrs. Trasborg. I'm the principal at Fritz Elementary. And I'm here today because I want to talk to you a little bit about what school's going to look like at Fritz this year. My goal is to help you plan and make decisions for what works best for your family, whether it's Fritz 5 days a week, Conestoga Valley Virtual Academy, Cyber School, or another virtual option. By the time I'm finished, hopefully you'll have a picture of what arrival and dismissal looks like, cafeteria, hallways, classroom procedures, bus transportation, etc. So here we go. One of the pieces that's important to understand is kind of the overarching philosophy of how we're doing this. What we're using is what's called the family model, classroom families. So even though Fritz has maybe 600 kids, your children will be with 20 kids for the majority of the day. They won't be mixing with other kids. We've arranged hallway passage so that kids are not passing across each other. They're going to be self-contained within that area. If they go to recess, they'll still be with their homeroom group. If they go to special, they'll still be with their homeroom group. Students will not mix during interventions. They won't mix during pull-out situations. So that overarching strategy, the classroom family strategy, really mitigates exposure to kids across the school. The next item I'd like to talk with you about is arrival. So as you know, when kids come to CV and Fritz, they can come a couple of different ways. One way they can come is car rider. Car rider is going to look a little different this year because we're planning to increase our capacity for the back lot where kids are going to be dropped off back by the gym, and we'll have 2 lanes of traffic and additional adults there so that kids can come in through the back into the gym. Once they arrive into the gym, they'll be able to quickly grab a breakfast and go to their homeroom. If there is a couple of minutes that the kids need to be there, it's a very, very large area and we can successfully socially distance in that area. So car rider drop-off will be in the back of the area for the morning. Then the front, we have a couple of new entrances that we're going to open up. Kindergarten, 5th and 6th graders are going to come in through the kindergarten entrance. 3rd, 4th, and 1st graders are going to come through the main entrance. And 2nd graders who are not eating breakfast will come through the 2nd grade entrance. And so that gives us 4 different entrances where kids can come in. We're going to have breakfast kiosks available so kids can just quickly grab breakfast and go to their homerooms. This should spread out the volume of kids coming into Fritz and alleviate congestion and kids being in large clumps of students at one time. Now for dismissal. So we are hoping to get a good sense of parents who are interested in their kids riding the bus in the AM and PM and be able to look at our busing situation to see if we need to make any changes. So in order to accommodate the larger number of people that we anticipate at Car Rider in the afternoon, we're going to be moving Car Rider up to starting at 3:15. So with a little bit of time, we'll get a sense of, if we need to have a 3:15 and a 3:30 Car Rider time, but we're going to get started a little bit earlier, especially initially, so that we can dismiss kids to the Car Rider area and start to get them into your cars and home. So Car Rider is going to start at 3:15. It's going to be in the back parking lot. We will have 2 lanes to try to move people through quicker. We'll have additional staff out there. We are encouraging some carpooling if that works for your family. And like I said, we may do a second wave of Car Rider at 3:25. We will be dismissing walkers at 3:15, and then we will call buses at 3:25. Students will go out the same exits that they came in. So kindergarten, 5th and 6th grade out that entrance. The main exit will be 1st, 3rd, and 4th grade. And again, we need to split 1st grade. We may have some go out the kindergarten, some the main entrance. 2nd grade will also use their area, just like when they came in. And we'll have teachers stationed all over the school at these different entrances to make sure that everybody gets to where they need to go. Again, the idea is to have a staggered end of the day and to, just like the morning, have kids not congest in areas and keep the traffic moving. This next section is about the classrooms, and I know many of you have a lot of questions regarding that. As I said earlier, students are self-contained, meaning that they will remain with those 20 or so students that they are assigned to throughout the day. They maybe have more than one teacher, and one day they're with one teacher and another day they're with another teacher. If there is movement within the day from classroom to classroom, like going to specials, there will be cleaning protocols that occur in between students arriving there. But for the most part, they will remain in their room for the entire day, and the teachers will shift. The only difference is 6th grade. There's a little bit of switching between math, science, and social studies, and there's deep cleaning that occurs in between those teachers. All students are going to be one-to-one. K to 4, they will have iPads, and in grades 5 to 6, they'll have laptops. If students need to be pulled for any type of interventions, we've redone all the schedules so that the students who need to be pulled are already in the same homeroom, and so we don't need to mix kids across homeroom groups. If there is a substitute that cannot come in, we will not split the kids up into different groups as we've done in the past. We will have a Fritz staff member cover that classroom. Might even be me. So as far as the room setup, we spent a lot of time this summer looking at the classrooms and removing anything that we can to make more space so that we can spread desks and tables apart. We're trying to socially distance to the maximum extent possible, having kids face the same way or staggered or spread at least 3 feet apart, 6 feet where we can. We've increased ventilation. Doors and windows will be open. There's new filters that are being placed in the air conditioning and heating units. We're going to be offering classes outside as much as possible, depending upon the weather. Recess will still occur, but we have 4 different recess areas so that the kids will be separated by homeroom for recess, but they will still allow recess. We won't be having any field trips this year. And when they're at recess or when they're in classrooms and they can be 6 feet apart, they will have an opportunity to take mask breaks. So different classrooms have slightly different configurations, and so we're trying to create as many opportunities for that to happen while being socially distanced as possible. Students will go to specials for 45 days in a row. They'll do one special, and then the next marking period, they'll do another one, and then another one, and then another one. We're doing that so that we can have individual material kits, so that we can store materials, so that we learn the hallway passages of routines from class to class. And that just makes it a lot easier to maintain our cleaning practices and our social distancing protocols. So we're excited for those teachers to work with the special teachers for 45 days in a row. We will still be able to check books out throughout the year. They will still have an opportunity at recess to get physical exercise. And, so we're trying to make sure that everyone is as safe as possible, including our special teachers. Like I said, we're going to have individual materials kits for music and for art. Every child is going to get their own pair of drumsticks, and some of the students are getting shakers and rhythm scarves, motion scarves, things like that. We will be doing group work and activities in classrooms following safety protocols. So if a child is working in a small group under 6 feet, they will be wearing a mask or a face shield is what we're looking for to happen. If they are farther apart than 6 feet, then they don't need to wear a face covering. We are going to try to maintain those table groups throughout different things within the day. So again, keep kids within a smaller family, even than their classroom family. So I'm sure that you have more questions about classrooms. Again, overarching philosophy is to create as normal an experience, an interactive, engaging experience for students, but to keep them safe, to wash hands as many times throughout the day as we can, to give them individual music and art and other supplies so that there is limited mixing of materials. Let's talk a little bit about buses. So one of the things that we need from everyone is that survey to get filled out so that we have a sense of how many kids are going to be car riders in the morning, how many kids are going to be car riders in the afternoon, and how many walkers we're going to have. Once we know that, we can look at the busing situation, and the plan is to reduce the number of kids on the bus to about 2 per seat and grouping them with their families. Masks are required on the bus. That's absolutely required. And if the child comes to the bus without a mask, the bus drivers will have disposable ones to provide so that the children can still get to school. In addition, we are going to be calling buses in the afternoon so that kiddos load the bus. We're going to load from the back to the front as best as we can, and the routes in the morning will load the kids from the back to the front. And Brightville, the bus company, is currently working on looking at bus routes, and we'll be looking at seating assignments for kids, grouping kids together with their brothers and sisters, things like that, so that we can help mitigate the spread of the virus. In addition, we are going to be having the windows open on the bus to encourage lots of ventilation. So those are a few things regarding the bus, and it's really important that you get those surveys filled out so that we can start planning for the volume of car riders, bus riders, walkers, etc. We recognize that meals are important for our students. And as I mentioned, the breakfast will be served via kiosks in multiple locations for car riders, for the kindergartners, 5th, 6th graders, for the 3rd, 4th, 1st graders coming in, and the 2nd graders will come in through the main lobby as needed also if they're eating breakfast. So we are for lunch going to have not only the cafeteria but also an auxiliary cafeteria, where we are going to have double the number of tables placed in either the cafeteria or in a section of the gym. We are dividing the gym in half. The gym does have a screen that comes down, And while we have approximately 20 tables in the cafeteria currently, those will remain. We're adding 20 additional tables to the gym area, so we'll have over 40 tables across both areas, really separating the kids out. We also have a divider in the cafeteria where we can further separate students, so they will be grouped by homeroom, heavily socially distanced in that area. There will be one grade level per location, so the kids will not mix. We will have peanut allergy tables in both places. We're looking at 2nd, 6th, 4th grade, and kindergarten in the cafeteria, and grades 3, 5, and 1 in the larger gym area. We may have some students that do eat in other areas as we feel it's necessary, but overall, that's the plan for the locations of the cafeteria. We will be starting off with cold lunch, not a lot of choices, just a grab and go situation, just like breakfast, and then phasing in hot lunch as well. We're going to try to have no lines, keep things moving, a lot of sanitation. In between each of the lunches, we have a custodian assigned to both the gym and to the cafeteria to do sanitation. As always, we always do that, but even more between students, and they will be separated as much as is possible. So that's a little peek in what lunch and breakfast will look like at Fritz. Increased cleaning protocols are an absolute necessity, and we have a couple of changed plans in place. Number one, we're going to have increased daily cleaning of high-touch areas like handles, faucets, things like that, light switches. We're adding a custodian to the day. We will have one assigned to the cafeteria, the other to the gym, to assist with additional cleaning there, and also assist as needed with high-touch areas during the day. Overnight, we're going to be doing deep cleaning of the buses, chairs, tables, bathrooms, floors, increasing the use of our electrostatic sprayer to also assist with those types of cleaning protocols. We will be doing more and more hand washing, as I said earlier, and we recognize that that is probably the number one thing that we can do. And yes, it will eat into instructional time, but we think that that's a better option than preserving instructional time and not being as safe as we can be. There will be additional some changes in ventilation protocols, more windows opened as humidity allows, class outside, following safety protocols. They're changing the filter in the air conditioning and heating system and leaving it running 24/7 to keep that humidity down, which also helps mitigate the spread of the virus. So many of you probably also have questions about how things will be happening in the nurse's office. So just so you know, we do have an isolation room, and we will be escorting students there if we have any questions about whether they are showing symptoms or they need to be separated from the rest of the students so that we can contact home. That area is separate from the nurse's office. We are going to be doing med checks and giving them medicines as students come in, also a little bit separate from the nurse's office. We're trying to keep kids healthy, but not have as many kids coming and going in the nurse's office as we have in the past. To help with that, the nurse will be making house calls or classroom calls as we're able to address belly aches, headaches, things like that. If a child does show any symptoms, we'll be making a phone call home. We are being told, based on the latest guidelines from the CDC, and this could change, that exposure is defined as someone who is around somebody 15 minutes or more in close quarters. So that would be then the need for somebody to be quarantined. So we are telling our teachers that if they are interacting in groups with students, that it should be for less than 15 contiguous minutes to avoid that possibility of spread. So that's one of the efforts that we are putting in place. As always, please do not send your children to school sick. We ask that you check temperatures at home, that you are careful with, you know, being aware of if they're showing any symptoms. You can feel free to contact Mrs. Miller, who is our school nurse, if you have questions. This year, we are not going to be inviting visitors in for lunch at Fritz or into the classrooms. We want to limit the amount of adult exposure to students to make it as minimal as possible. And so we are going to ask that you not ask to come in to visit your children for lunch. We will be having volunteers come in to help with photocopying into the main office, but they will not be going to the classroom areas. We will still have student teachers and we will still have interventionists or agency groups come in, but they will go right to our student services suite and pull students. Students will be pulled from their classes to work with them. So again, trying to limit the amount of adults in our building, to limit the amount of additional interaction between populations, and to really preserve that family bubble, that classroom family that I talked about at the beginning of this video. So hopefully you understand a little bit of the work that we've done, and this helps inform your decision making. We understand that this is a very difficult time for all of us, for you, for us, and that you need to make the decision that's best for your family. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to talk with you on the phone, or you can reach out to me via email. There is no perfect solution, and I'm not going to sit here and say that our answer is going to be perfect. It's not. But it is what we feel a very strong response to the research that we have been presented from COVID-19, and how that works with our children in light of the community that we are in. So overall, we want the kids to feel like school is as normal as possible. We want their social, emotional, and academic health to continue to grow, and them to not even realize all the work that's happened behind the scenes. So yes, there will be interaction. Yes, there will be recess. Yes, there will be a lot of cleaning protocols. Yes, there will be a lot of hand sanitizer. Yes, they will work in small groups. And yes, we are asking your children to wear masks or a face shield. So we're here for you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Well, that's pretty much a wrap. We've talked about a lot of the details about our planning related to Fritz Elementary, and hopefully this helps you understand a little bit more about what we're planning for the fall. I also want you to know that this was made on July 28th of 2020, and things change. Things are changing all the time, and our plan will adjust. And so I urge you to make sure that your communication with Fritz is strong, that you're receiving my emails, that your phone numbers are updated in Sapphire. If you have questions, reach out to the main office and ask, and we'll help make sure that that communication link is there. So you have a lot to think about. Again, when the survey comes out this coming Friday, please take a look and fill it out and get back to us as soon as you can so that we can help make plans. All right, well, that's it. I've got my mask and I'm ready to go. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.